okay?
Yep.
Before I start, let me just say one thing. Thanks to Charlene for last week. To be honest with you, I've been getting a tad discouraged because of people weren't coming forward and sharing, and your little testimony really blessed me, and I know it blessed God. What I have today, I'm entitling His Eyes on the Sparrow. We're all familiar with that song, I'm sure. For as long as I can remember, I have been interested in miracles. It's so fascinating how God overrides all that we understand about the laws of physics. And I find this to be very comforting to see that the God that I put my trust in is so real and present and capable and so big. How could we do anything but fear and revere and honor Him? The miracle that I'm going to relate today is most unusual. It's something that happened to me some 35 years ago, and it's the first miracle that I ever saw. I was single at the time. I lived in Austin, Texas. I had a good job with Southwestern Bell. I drove a 1-year-old Corvette. My girlfriend at the time lived 200 miles away in Dallas, Texas. And I might add that I had not been in church at this time since I was 16 years old. It had been a long time. I made that trip to Dallas frequently, and on some occasions, for no good reason, I would park my perfectly good car in an insurance company parking lot, walk out on the highway, and hitchhike to Dallas. I know, that sounds crazy. I think I just liked the adventure. It made me think of the memorable line from the Forrest Gump movie where he says, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." But I did that, and I don't recommend doing that, especially that was 35 years ago, and it really wasn't too smart back then, but I never claimed to be too smart, so I did some crazy things. But on this particular Sunday afternoon, I got a late start home and followed by short rides, so I wasn't making much progress. I found myself standing beside the road at a little town called Troy between Waco and Temple. It was getting dark quickly, and it was really hard to get a ride after dark. To make matters worse, a big storm was brewing overhead with black clouds and a lot of lightning. As I looked around, my eyes fixed on an old wood-framed white church with a tall steeple. For a few minutes, I'm sorry. For a few minutes, I got lost in the memories of my childhood spent in church. And I thought about God for the first time in a long time. And even though my circumstances warranted it, I still don't recall praying and asking God for help. I just thought and reflected. I certainly wasn't having fun anymore by this time. About the time I turned my attention back to the highway to put my thumb up again, the rain came, and it was big rain. Oh, brother, here I stand 80 miles from home. It's dark now. I have no umbrella, and it's pouring rain. That's when I realized something was not right. I wasn't getting wet. As I looked at the ground, I saw that I was standing in a dry circle. I immediately looked up, thinking that I must be standing under some kind of big round something or other that I must have overlooked. There was nothing above me but sky, and I was still dry. I was totally baffled. But before I had time to sort it out, an off-duty policeman heading south on 35 pulled over and said two beautiful words: "Hop in." He took me to my destination, And all was well once again in Larry's world. It would be many more years before I found my way back to God, but maybe you can see why my favorite song is His Eye is on the Sparrow. In closing, I know this is to me this is the most unusual miracle, and yet I witnessed it. I don't know why God did it, but I would welcome from you guys any speculation as to why God did that for me. And I'd also love to hear any other similar stories. I hope this blesses someone in some way, but I especially hope that it brings glory to our awesome God.
Amen.
His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me.